is Sheela Foam. It was a strong quarter with profits rising 64% and lower raw material prices aiding the expansion in margins. Let's discuss the quarter gone by with Rahul Gautam, the Managing Director of Sheela Foam. Good having you, Mr. Gautam. Thanks so much for taking the time out. Hasn't been a bad quarter at all. Usually companies are either circumspect about the quarters to come or a bit circumspect about how the times have been because of the economic slowdown. How is it that you are beating the buck, and what do you think the outlook is like for quarter four or arguably for the next 2 or 3 quarters?
So thank you very much for having me. You've asked so many questions at a stretch that let me begin with the last quarter. So last quarter, I must confess that a little bit of addition is because of our Spanish acquisition, which happened on the 14th of October last year, and that quarter got added. But anyway, that's going to be a part of us as we journey along. But even without the Spanish one, there has been a growth as far as last quarter is concerned. From our markets, we see that the trend is changing a little bit. Whatever has passed as far as this quarter is concerned, I see that trend continuing. It's still a slow one, but it is continuing. And my estimates are that in the quarter one of the next financial year, we should be far better than that of last year. Yeah.
Mr. Gautam, hi, good afternoon. In your press release, you've indicated the average TDI prices, which is a basic raw material for your company. They've come down to 129. That was the average price for last quarter. Quarter two, it was about 133. And if I look at the trend, the TDI prices have been coming down. Can you tell us what are the prices currently, and do you expect this trend to last?
So currently there is another small drop. It is about 4 rupees. So it's down to about 125 rupees. It's already bottomed out. Honestly, if there is any minor 2-3 rupees happening here and there, these are transitional matters and happen sometimes. But I see that it has bottomed out. It should remain here for at least next 2 quarters. It should remain here like this. And because I don't see any dramatic change as far as supply side or the demand side is concerned. Plus this recent coronavirus issue in China. China, which is almost producing about 1/3 of TDI of the world and is also consuming an equivalent quantity, that can change that equation a little bit. Because those materials that are being produced there may not be consumed throughout the world, and therefore there may be a further pressure on the price. But I think it will be around this, just 1 or 2 rupees here and there that may change.
So from last quarter, from 129, it's come down to 125. Where are you sourcing your TDI from, sir?
So majority of it we do source from the Indian supplier, from the NFC, locally, and which will be more than 60-65%. And the balance we are importing. In fact, on the import side also now there are suppliers who stock and sell here, and therefore as far as we are concerned, it is almost like a local purchase.
Correct me if I'm wrong, since you mentioned China produces 1/3 of TDI and it consumes as well. Because of whatever is happening due to coronavirus outbreak, and you're sourcing 40% of your TDI requirement, there is no anti-dumping duty, but if that comes about, would that impact you?
So the anti-dumping, the local company GNFC has applied for an anti-dumping duty. It is still in very prelim stages. I would assume it will be a couple of months down the line before anything substantial happens or progresses on that issue. And in any case, whatever those duties are, they are of the order of 10-12%. I mean, it's my assumption that it will eventually get levied is about 10-12 rupees a kilo or something like that. I don't think it will change anything much.
Okay. So suffice to say, since the prices are at where they are, your margins will continue to be in that range of 14 to 15% then, because we have seen margin expansion on year-on-year basis.
That is correct. That it will be of in that range, 14 to 15%. it will remain there.
Okay.
That's right.
Sir, just one more question from my side. What was the volume growth on the mattresses business for the quarter gone by, on year-on-year as well as sequentially?
So the volume growth was reasonably high. It was, if I remember correctly, about 38% in numbers. But at the same time, the average selling price did fall by about 200 rupees. So ASP came down, but the volumes went up. And this is also an indication of this downturn that people are tending to be a little more economic or a little more budgetary in their purchases. Plus the impact of the unorganized sector converting to the organized, and therefore the average selling price is a little bit down.
Would this be a factor of the higher mix of, a higher proportion of the lower price mattresses getting sold, Mr. Gautam? And is this a trend which will only expand in your mix? I mean, that the quantum of the lower MRP mattresses will go up?
Yes, it will definitely go up as a percentage, but I don't see a drop happening on the other side either, which is our efforts to pull the price up and, to sort of premiumize and move in that direction. That effort will continue, but that effort is not giving results as desired. It is happening. If I was to break it up into two segments, one is that this new segment, which is the lower end segment, and the other is the higher end segment. The higher end, the prices have moved up, but the volume and the prices there, that's high. And therefore, average selling price, I don't think will come down anymore, but the volumes in that part will definitely increase.
Okay. Just one more point on the advertisements and promotions, because you spoke about how margins may stay higher at 14-15. I think you logged in a similar number in quarter two as well. But analysts who look at the sector suggest that the competition that you have in the organized space is rich, backed with PE funds, and therefore the competitive intensity will continue to remain high. Would that keep a lid on the operational metrics expansion, Mr. Gautam?
No, I don't think so. I think that will continue as it is.
Mr. Gautam, I think the last time we spoke to you, you spoke to us about improving your retail touch points and making sure there is a higher conversion rate of footfalls within each of your stores. How's that been progressing in terms of footfall conversion, and any plans in increasing the number of stores? I think there were 4,000 plus exclusive stores that we spoke about. Is there an addition to that? Do you have like a plan in mind as to how many stores you want to reach by the end of the year?
Yes, ma'am. So that is true that the number of stores are expanding. The rate of growth is not as high as it was, let's say, a year and a half back. But today the number is closer to 4,800, in fact 4,850. And the effort to improve the efficiency of the store by increasing footfalls and the conversion, those are the two basic areas that we are working on, and we will continue to work on that. And more on the conversion part within the store. The footfalls, as we also track the footfalls into the stores, and we have seen that it has been low and has picked up in the recent past, but the conversion still is on the lower side. So if you have about 6 footfalls, the conversion is only about 2, and we intend to work hard on, or actually we are working hard on changing that 2 to 3 or 4, and that would bring about the increase in volumes.
Mr. Gautam, the other point being obviously the extensively competitive industry that this is. The fact that we spoke about this also in the past where, at the entry level mattresses, there is intense competition. So how does one get the stickiness of a customer and get the business from the unorganized market to a player like yourself?
So look, as far as competition is concerned, I don't see any industry where there is no competition, right, or there is any less competition. Most of the industries are highly competitive, and more so in the economic downturn, So that competition is there, but the large potential of the unorganized sector, as well as the the non-modern mattress market, which one estimates that at upwards of 60%, where people sleep on cotton mats, cotton or daris or chatais or something like that. The conversion happening from there to the modern mattress, which may be both the organized and the unorganized, is bound to happen. As soon as availability is increased, as soon as the knowledge and the information on the products increase, as people are able to experience it, and we see expansion of that happening. Then from the unorganized to the organized, I guess there are two players in that part. One is us, make the products more competitive and make them available to the unorganized customers. And the other part is, of course, being played by the government to really push the compliance of GST and ensure that people pay their taxes. And I think that convergence the movement is happening there, and I guess it'll take a little more time, will eventually happen.